Hello, everyone. So, I have been thinking about making this video for a while, especially given the fact that so many Black women who have social media accounts are constantly harassed by a lot of different types of trolls, but white women trolls, it's gotten to a point where it's super ridiculous. And so many Black women content creators are living with this harassment every single day, myself included. I don't talk about it a lot, and a lot of the other Black women content creators have been in this ongoing battle against liberal white feminists or whatever, really attacking Black women. So, first, what I'm going to do is show you the type of harassment I get, and then we're going to talk about why white women are so obsessed with trolling and harassing Black women online. So, that's where I'm going to start. So let me just start by talking about a post I made last month and some of the replies. I'm going to share some of the replies. We're going to break down and analyze everything after. I want you all to see the type of stuff that I deal with on a daily basis. I block people daily. I block white women daily. So let's start with this post. All right. So last month, my mom went to the hospital to follow up after surgery. And I wrote this post while I was sitting there. I said, I'm sitting in the waiting room while my mom waits to be called for her appointment. And they just wheeled an elderly man out in a wheelchair. The nurse asked him if he had a phone to call someone to pick him up. He said yes, but he didn't know who to call. Then they asked him how he got to the hospital. And he said he drove. Y'all, this man can barely walk. He should not be behind the wheel. The US healthcare system is completely broken. All right, so that's what I posted. And then this is what I started to get. Okay, so this lady said, I use a wheelchair because I can't walk, but I've been driving just fine for over 30 years now. It's called hand controls. Was there something else about him that indicated he shouldn't be driving? I know lots of elderly folks who can have vision issues or reflex issues that can make driving dangerous. Surely that's what you're referring to and not the wheelchair alone. And I said, why on earth would you think this post was about you? I swear white women have an incredible talent for centering themselves in every single conversation. Use some common sense next time and just keep scrolling unless someone specifically mentions a person who can't walk but still drives. Good grief. And this continued. I had more. Another white woman. You made a judgment on someone you don't know who, for all you know, has been in a wheelchair since he was a child. Then you're mad because someone else who used a wheelchair was like, hey, just so you know, wheelchair users can actually drive. Do you not see how you sound right now? And then here comes another one. Okay, but there are people with no legs who drive cars just fine. Girl was calling you out on ableism. Yes, I'm prepared to be blocked. And there was another one. She didn't make it about her. She only shared her experience to explain why someone in a wheelchair would and could be driving since she uses one, Kai. And either way, it has nothing to do with her skin color. This is the most ridiculous effing post I came across in a while. You know who made it about herself, though? You did, with your victim mentality. You're so obsessed with us. You can't fathom a simple comment from a white woman. Grow the F up. And this is something that tickles me because one of the reasons white women feel like they can talk to Black women in this way is because they feel like they're coming from a place of authority. So let me break down the situation so that you all can understand what happened at the hospital. First of all, I'm an educated Black woman. I have 2 degrees from 2 prestigious universities. One of them is a law degree. I want to be clear because there's this perception that somehow you guys know more than Black women. I'm also the child of a physician. So I've spent a lot of time in doctors' offices. And I've spent a lot of time in the last few months in doctors' offices because of my family's health situation. If you know anything about hospitals, wheelchairs that they use at the hospitals are not necessarily that patient's wheelchair. Yeah. Some of you all may not get that. Very often they wheel elderly people around just to support them, not because they can't walk. Since speaking of ableism, not because they need the wheelchair, they just offer the wheelchair. So the wheelchair that the elderly gentleman was in was not his wheelchair. It was just the hospital wheelchair. It was just a courtesy wheelchair. And I know I didn't put all those details into my message when I posted it because I didn't feel it was necessary, because I assume that there are people who've been in the hospital and have seen elderly people wheeled around in the wheelchairs. So there's a whole lot of experience behind my post that you all can't see because you've made an assumption that I'm an ableist because I talked about a man in a wheelchair, which is ableist of you to assume that you know more than me. So that's what's happening a lot of times when white women are commenting to Black women. And we know that the reason why so many white women feel this way is because of racism. There's a natural assumption that you know more. So my experience, my education means that I have enough information to make an assessment about this elderly gentleman. And what I saw was an elderly gentleman that could walk, but was too out of it at the hospital, that he needed some assistance. And that was actually caring about the situation, while you guys are just assuming that I'm talking about a disabled person in a wheelchair when I'm not. And again, this comes back to racism. There is so much racism embedded, especially in liberal white women, because you feel as though you're liberal and you know what's going on, but then you come to the internet and you see Black women freely speaking and talking about things, and you make the assumption that you know more than we do when you don't. And then when you get your hand smacked, as it should be, for talking crazy to us, then you pile on together. Now, that's where your sisterhood is. I know somebody else online was talking about, do white women have a sisterhood? You don't, but you do when it comes to attacking Black women. You guys will just pile on. She's an ableist when that wasn't the case. I wasn't talking about a person who was disabled who can drive, which is not, it's not even a big deal. Like, it shouldn't even be brought up. Yes, we know that, that's common sense. But since you brought it up, like, that wasn't the situation. And you made assumptions based on my race. And I know that. I know that's what it is. And the fact that I actually smacked the woman's hand and said, you're centering yourself, because the other thing is, you see everything is revolving around you. So again, situation, I'm being harassed, and I have so many more screenshots of that type of behavior. But let me move on to another one. All right. This one makes sense. So I posted this the other day. I truly enjoy Leanne Morgan's comedy, but I can't help bracing myself just in case she turns out to be racist. She's a 60-year-old white woman from Tennessee, and in this world, expecting that is less about prejudice and more about self-preservation. Now, a lot of white women came in and said, yes, that's true. And I appreciate those white women and said, yes, that's true. Because let's just be honest, 60-year-old white women from the South tend to be racist. So my apprehension about Leanne Morgan is warranted. It's warranted. But no. Instead of being honest, here come the racist. This one, I know they were trying to say no one cares what your whiny white liberal thinks about any of us, even though I'm not white. Here comes another one. How sad. How old are you, Kai Fly Mama? You make me want to puke. People from the South and of a certain age are not all racist. We may have voted for Trump even, but that doesn't mean we approve of everything he does. People up north make as many, if not more, racial comments than we do in the South, or we in the South do. And here's another one. I'm bracing myself in case you turn out to be an idiot. Again, this is every day. This is my everyday lived experience. So when you think that this, and I'm a small content creator, I do not have hundreds of thousands of followers like the other Black women content creators. I'm small. I'm itty bitty. And white women harass me daily. This is a daily thing for me. And so this is what Black women are talking about when we're like, leave us alone. Like, leave us alone. We're not bothering you. We don't go out of our ways to go to your pages and harass you. But white women go out of their way to harass us, because when it comes down to systemic racism, you guys are still part of the system. And the only power that you feel that you can wield is over people of color. And so when you see Black women, especially out there living our free, happy lives and expressing things that you wish you could express against the system, because a lot of times I think it's jealousy about how we would just talk about what's bothering us. And you are sitting there in your patriarchy, scared to open your mouth and say anything against white men, because I don't ever see you guys going after white men like the way y'all come at Black women. Instead of, going out and really attacking the system, you're attacking us to make us silent like you. And that's your issue. That's not our issue. That's your issue that you need to work on. And so that racism in your head, the assumption that you know more than us, we are the highest educated group of Americans. Black women, we're the highest educated. We are the experts. So when you're sitting there making assumptions about us, you need to realize that you're probably dealing with a highly educated individual who has had a lot of experience and has been around a lot of more places than you have, and can make assessments and judgments and form informed opinions. My opinions are informed. My opinions are not all willy-nilly. I didn't grow up like, just stupid and had no books and no education. I'm not a person who's just making stuff up like a lot of people out there, like a lot of unqualified, very confident idiots out there. That's not us. So when you see us minding our business, yes, we're content creators. We post things. Yes, it's public and you can interact with it. But if you come to judge or to tell us or admonish us or say, you shouldn't say that, don't, because that's not your place. And I think that that's why there's so many Karens in the world. They think that you all think you have authority when you don't. And it's not your place to tell us what to do. It's your place to mind your business. So anyway, it's been on my mind for over a month. I see so many Black women getting harassed. So share this video. Help educate your fellow white women. Tell them to leave Black women alone. And also stop asking Black women to educate you on everything. Go Google it. Because I had another one the other day. I'm talking about white passing Black people. And this woman was like, I don't understand how it means. But that means, can you, help me out? No. Google, educate yourselves. Take the time to first unlearn all the racist things that are going on in your head. And when you have that knee-jerk reaction to want to say something and tell a Black woman she shouldn't do something, don't. Just know that's the racism operating in your head and stop yourself. Anyway, as always, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment. I do appreciate this. Is okay, ladies, white women, this is your opportunity. I am offering to reply to comments, be respectful. If you're disrespectful, you get blocked. But this moment right now, I'm offering. Generally, I don't, because I don't have the patience. And I block, like I said, I block white female trolls every day. So today's your day. Today's your day. This is the video you can ask questions on. Anyway, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. And peace, guys.